All right, now our last topic of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to talk a little bit about we all know about the Jonathan Martin situation with Richie Incognito in Miami. So many different reports, that he had issues with other players, language, things in the locker room, the voicemail, players back in Incognito, not Jonathan Martin, not really stepping up. We already know about, what happened. So, Stoney, just talk about how you feel. What is your reaction to the whole situation, and what do you think the NFL is going to do about it?
Well, let me just go out on the record and say this. Richie Incognito, you are a punk. And I say that because for you to treat your own teammate like that, to send him voicemails, text messages, that's just straight up disrespectful, punkish move by you. Here's a guy living his dream, looking up to you as his big brother to show him how to become a better football player, so that way he's not, as an offensive lineman, that's a big role to step in right away to start on a team to be a lineman, offensive lineman. You got to learn protections, schemes. It's a tough job. And then it's your job to put that guy on your shoulder and show him exactly why you are one of the leaders of this franchise. And then for you to do something like that, I cannot show no remorse for you. Anybody who tries to back you up, I show no pity for you. This should not be tolerable. I think the NFL should suspend. I'm glad he's suspended indefinitely, and when the truth reveals itself, I think he should probably serve maybe 1-2 year ban from the league, because to show that this is not tolerable, or that they do not tolerate this kind of behavior, especially to rookies. These guys are supposed to be a team, a family.
He's in his second year though, so.
Most of it stemmed from his rookie year.
Yeah.
I mean, and then to see your rap sheet from when you were in St. Louis and in the team before, this is just not acceptable. So I hope whatever the NFL decides punishment comes to you, you deserve it.
I think this is kind of just a disgusting thing. I mean, anytime you put someone down, you call them names, it's hurtful. And I mean, Lino and I were talking earlier. It's something that happens when you're a kid, and you try to grow out of that as you get older. And so I think that him being the veteran, so to say, between him and Martin. He should be showing him, right and wrong, kind of taking him under his wing, saying, hey, I know you're young, but, here's some good things you should do. I think he took the wrong route, but I think this story also, it's gotten so much attention. To be honest, it's kind of annoyed me how much it's every day. It's half of SportsCenter is, dedicated to just this story. And, as a SportsCenter fan, I want to watch like everything else in sports. I don't want to spend all this time. If I want to know that, I'll go on the internet. But I still think it's a disgusting thing and disrespectful to the league, and it shouldn't be tolerated. And I'm glad he's suspended.
Well, let me take a deep breath, because this might be a while, because this is just irritating to hear this story in general. Just to hear this, like something like this would come out, because I don't back Incognito, because he was wrong, but to a sense, a lot of this stuff goes on between locker rooms, general public. I mean, people make fun of people. People talk about people. He probably went across the line. Now, there's a line that you should not cross. He probably crossed the line. Now, we don't know exactly what happened in that locker room, but the way Jonathan Martin handled this, because I'm not backing Martin either. I'm not backing anybody in this case right now, because first of all, bullying is something we have for little kids. When you get bullied, that's something you think about in elementary school. Are you getting bullied today? You know what I'm saying? And there's a difference between hazing and bullying. Rookies go through hazing. Nobody ever says anything that it's a problem like that. And in this case, Jonathan Martin did not handle this situation as a grown man. He did not handle this situation personally like he should have. He went out, he didn't say anything, fine. If you're not gonna say anything, then don't say anything. Just handle it on your own. But this is a matter between Jonathan Martin and Richie Incognito. This is not a matter between all the teammates in the locker room. If Jonathan Martin had a problem, you go up to Incognito and you tell him, you know what, I don't appreciate this. This is disrespectful to me. I don't like how you're talking to me. I mean, if you want to talk to me like a man, then talk to me like a man. Don't try to treat me like a child because I'm younger than you. I'm on this team just like you are. It's a team game. We have to work together. And to Incognito, or to Incognito's point of view, if you're gonna treat somebody like that like a teammate, you do have to ask people how they feel. You know what I'm saying? You can't expect everybody to have the same point of view you do. You can't expect everybody to act the way you do. And like the Dolphins teammates, players saying that Incognito's more black or more, more this, they might have said that in the wrong statement, but everybody's not going to be the same way you are. You know what I'm saying? And people have to take that into account when you're talking to people a certain way. And I think it's just a situation that shouldn't get aired out in the media the way it has, because I was watching SportsCenter and Herm Edwards said, if you don't want to know how your food is made, don't go into the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? So and I'm pretty sure this happens in a lot more cases than just this. It's just the way this played out that it kind of came out in the media. And I don't, as far as the NFL handling this, or probably it's going to go into NFL locker room probes. It doesn't need to go that far. I mean, these are, like I said, these are grown men. You're a 300-pound offensive lineman. You are not getting bullied in a locker room. Nobody's making you pay for something you want to pay for. It's ridiculous. So, I'm tired of it already.
Yeah, I'm sick. I'm just sick and tired of hearing about it. It's being blown out of proportion. When people have problems, they talk about it or they go to therapy. I mean, send these two to therapy or something. But I don't understand how you could do that to your teammate. I could never do that to any of my colleagues, my teammates. Like, we're a family, and it also speaks to just who people are as in general. And I want to get on Richie Incognito so much, but you have players in the Dolphins locker room coming out and backing him up, saying, "Oh, he's not that type of guy. He's not racist like that." And it makes me think, I mean, is it blown out of proportion, or are they just backing him because they're his teammates? And that's what I have to figure out before I can really make a judgment on the situation. But I do think that if Martin had a problem, the media is not the people to tell, because they're gonna change it, rearrange it, blow it out of proportion, and honestly, Incognito is going to pay for this for a long time. He's probably going to get released by the Dolphins. Other teams aren't going to look at him. They're going to, oh, he had a problem in Miami. We're not going to look at him. His career might be over, honestly. And like you said, Martin's living his dream. He's 24. Richie Incognito is not as young as him. His dream might be over. And, I mean, when you look at that, for somebody saying something to me or doing something to me, and my dream is destroyed, it's kind of hard to have sympathy for either one of them at all.
Or their dream both could be over. I mean, not to cut you off, CJ. I mean, because if you look at the way Martin handled it, other teams are going to be like, well, we joke around, we play around, we're, kind of like that in our locker room where we go out, we play practical jokes, we do things like that. If Martin's not going to like that, what I'm saying, he might go and tell the media or something, or he might go tell somebody, and we'll get in trouble for just joking around. And that could have, just the situation could have harsh repercussions for both players.
I disagree with that point, just because I think they're both going to play again, because at the end of the day,
I do too.
They both have the ability to play football, and if they can help you win games, they're going to play again. Mm-hmm. So that's just where I stand on that. We all know Richie Incognito's rap sheet. We all know that he didn't have a good reputation as a player on the field. Most people who don't play with him don't like him. He wasn't really well liked in St. Louis. But he was elected as a leader of the team by the players on the Miami Dolphins. And if they say that he's not racist, for the most part, I'm going to believe him, because majority of players on the Miami Dolphins are of African descent. So if they believe that he's not racist, he's probably, using similar language that he's using with Martin to other players on the team. So it's not like, I'm assuming he maybe singled out Martin for like the over-the-top stuff that he used, but he probably, is using vulgar language with his other teammates as well. And, it's all about, the context. And, of course, I'd never condone anyone talking about anybody's mom or anybody's sister, but, when I heard the report that Martin had shared the voicemail with his other teammates and then laughed about it himself, then I kind of thought, like, well, yeah, you may be putting on an act to make it seem like everything's okay, but if you're going to do that, then you can't then react like all of a sudden like everything's wrong when originally you were all good with it just because you were trying to fit in, or if you were trying to do whatever. Like you said, you're a grown man. You have to be able to, speak your mind and speak your own self. I don't care who else is around you.
The game of football is mental. I mean,
Exactly.
if you can't handle that, then
So if he, his reaction to everything to me is what I didn't like, and not the fact that he didn't like stand up to Richie Incognito, punch him in the face or anything like that. I understand not everybody's made like that, but his reaction to, instead of talking to the coaches, talking to other leaders on the team, talking to anybody else, the first person he goes to talk to is his lawyer. Or his agent or a representative to say that this is what happened, and then he gives the voicemail to the media. That to me is just, I just think that's cowardly, personally. Just that reaction, not the not punching someone thing, just the way he reacts in that you run and tell the officials as opposed to handling it in house, because now that it's outside, now everyone's talking about these players do this and like these players do that with other players, and like the whole debit card thing, and like whatever it is. And like you said, as a grown man, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. I can speak that from personal experience, because in high school, as an athlete itself, when you're a freshman coming onto a varsity team, you're gonna get hazed. You're gonna be the, hey, get the pads, you got to carry the water jugs and like all that stuff. And there was a time where myself, during that time period, I freaked out and I snapped on everybody on my team because I wasn't getting it the same way that all the other freshmen on the team were getting it. So I can understand Martin's frustration level if maybe he's getting it more incognito in terms of like the more excessive stuff as opposed to everybody else. But like I said, in my situation,
you handled it with the people straight up.
Yeah, and I just said snap on the bus. On the bus, I was like, I'm not doing this, and the coaches didn't even say anything to me after that. They knew that that I had to handle my business like that, and then after that, it was cool. Like no one ever said anything to me after that, and I was 14 years old. So I don't want to hear that you can't do this stuff. When you're a 24-year-old professional athlete making millions of dollars, and you getting mad just because someone knocked your lunch tray out of your hand. Okay, I'm just saying I respect his decision not to react in a physical manner, but his reaction to kind of run and tell the main officials and his attorneys and stuff like that. To me, that's not the way that you handle it. Now, with that said, Richie Incognito should not have crossed the line that he did.
Yes.
But there's other ways to handle that.
And I don't want to give anyone a pass. Like I don't want to give Martin a pass because you gotta handle your problems. You can't expect the media. It's a bailout. Expecting the media to handle your problems for you is almost what happened. If you have a problem, you have to talk. You got to talk to somebody. I can't let you get a pass for being sensitive. I understand people are sensitive, but you can't get a pass for being sensitive and letting things happen. You still have to. You have to face your fears. When you were scared,
responsibility.
yeah. When you were little, you're scared of the dark. You have to face that fear no matter what. You can't rely on something else to do it, and it's not going to get solved if you allow other people to handle your problems. It's an impossibility. You have to take care of your own problems when they come.
Basically, what it comes down to is what happens on the field stays on the field. If you guys had a little bump together on the football field, leave it there. Once you guys get in that locker room, you guys need to, kind of just make up, hey man, no disrespect on the football field today, but we kind of maybe did a little too much out there. We need to work on that. Work on it, get better, so in that way, we're making ourselves better, and not, slowing down our learning process, stuff like that. Just leave it on the field, and when you're off the field, just don't leave it. Like I was told one time by a police officer, the question was, how do you handle being a police officer and going what you go through during your work shift and then come home? He said, every time I leave for work, I draw an imaginary line at the end of my driveway. My problems end there. All my police problems end there. When I go to work, I pick them back up. When I come home, that's where my problems are. I think just like that, you got to separate, on the field issues from off the field issues. This sounds like it was more of an on the field issue that needed to stay on the field and get solved by those guys. I agree with Chancey. I don't give Martin a pass. I know I sounded like I was on Martin's side, but just for that to happen is just should not be tolerated, and it should not happen in general.
Well said.
And that's just proof
Well
that,
said.
The NFL and professional sports in general just isn't for everybody mentally.
Yeah.
It's just as much a mental game as it is a physical game. And I think this conversation just proved that there's a big difference between, hazing, which is, carry the
Yeah.
water, pick up the pads, and bullying.
Yeah.
And we all believe in this case that it probably wasn't bullying necessarily,
Yeah.
especially when you're an adult
Yeah.
male.
I will say one thing. These sort of things divide a locker room, and that can only hurt a team. I mean, you've got people saying, Richie Incognito, he's not racist. Well, they're going to take his side, and then you're going to have people on Martin's side. And I think it's going to hurt the team a lot because, there might be more incidents like this that come out of it because people are, backing one person or another.
This team is kind of lacking a little bit of leadership right now, especially with the coaches saying they didn't really know this was going on, and got the manager saying punch him in the face, and it's just a bad situation for Miami.
Real
right
quick,
now.
do you think that Miami's going to lose this Monday against Tampa Bay?
No, I predict that Tampa Bay and Jacksonville will go 0-16.
Okay.
I think Tampa Bay is struggling too much. I think Miami is going to win this.
I got Miami winning this one. I mean,
surprised you-
Tampa Bay, excuse
I'm
me.
going to take Tampa Bay as well.
Tampa
They
Bay.
played really well last week. I think I've seen things less than this affect a team just as much and make them lose games afterwards. I think Tampa Bay comes out stronger and more ready than Miami is. Miami has a lot of mental things going on within the organization. They're gonna come out soft and get down and end up losing the game.
I think that these are the kind of situations that either bring a team together or break a team apart. And based on the players in the locker room, I think it might bring them together, so I'm going to take Miami in this game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this weekend's edition of Breakdown. I'm CJ.
Stoney J.
Kyle.
And Tolino.
And I'm Chancey Ames.
All right, we'll see you guys again next week.